Hello, today we're going to be taking a look at Roma Invicta. Now, this is actually created by a company called Games. I haven't yet heard about them, but I saw some videos online and I was like, man, I've got to take a look at this. So as you can see here, you could start in the early Roman period, the middle, or of course the late Roman period. Once you actually go into difficulty settings, we've got everything from easy to hard. I think we're going to go ahead and start right in the middle there and begin our campaign in Roma Invicta. So as you can see, we've got an absolutely beautiful, beautiful map here. It looks like right now the game focuses exclusively on ancient Gaul. I could be mistaken on that. Maybe that changes once we actually beat this mission. But as you can see, we've got some legions around, and we are going to be moving them around, etc., basically trying to capture territory from the Gauls. Another thing we can do is, of course, split our legions, or actually go ahead and join up legions to make a larger army. It looks like in each province there's a maximum of 5 units of the same kind to be stationed. Fair enough. If there's an opposing force in the same region, you could see or open the battle by clicking on the flaming button. Now, I know that there's an option to fight the battle yourself, or to go ahead and use the AI to fight your battles. So that's completely up to you. I have to say, I usually leave it for the AI. It does a pretty good job. And as you can see here, we can, of course, decide to build up a region instead of completely destroying it. But I kind of prefer to go ahead and destroy any region we come across. So if we take a look here, you can kind of zoom in and get an idea of the kinds of troops that this one has. It's got a bunch of different catapult troops, some cavalry, and some good old-fashioned infantry units. Over here, we can also go ahead and we can recruit additional legions. I think I'm going to go ahead and do that just a bit, but if you look in the upper right-hand corner, that does cost us a bit of gold. So obviously, we want to be very careful when we're doing that. Now, I've got a perfect opportunity to charge into these Gauls. So I'm going to go ahead, right-click the army, and we are going to go ahead and fight the battle ourselves. You actually see the auto battle button. Now, once again, you just kind of select, show me that later, select your units, and you can right-click to kind of push them forward, almost like a deployment mode of sorts. Now, I like having those velites ahead. I'm just hoping that they fall back when we need them to. And I'm going to keep our cavalry over here, and our artillery fairly behind the line, as behind the line as I can get them. So let's go ahead and end deployment. Now, we can, of course, zoom in as we see fit. I just love the level of detail here, and you can see that Gaulish horde on the way. Now, from what I can see, they don't have any cavalry, nothing like that, so I'm hoping this is a fairly easy battle. I'm going to go ahead and get my cavalry on their flank, and maybe start firing with the siege weapon already. Let's fire at will. Fire at will. There we go. Send some ballista shots their way. Looks like they've already taken out quite a few of our velites, though. So you know what? I think I'm going to start moving forward with the legions. Oh, yeah. I didn't expect that. They're actually coming after our cavalry. And look at the action there, guys, with the pilum. It's so damn nice. So rewarding in this game. You really get the idea that these are true pilum, just absolutely slaughtering the foe. Let's go ahead and charge, and I'm going to take this group. I know we shouldn't be charging spearmen, but you know what? There's a first time for everything, and I want to see how these men handle the fight. Once again, if we zoom in, we've got a fair amount of blood. I'd like to see some dismemberments and decapitations. That's not currently an option, but turning blood on and off is. So that's something to keep in mind. I would throw my javelins, but there's definitely a risk of cutting off my own men. And it looks like we did okay. We certainly lost some cavalry, but I think we're going to come out on top with a victory here in this part of Gaul. Southwestern Gaul. Come on, boys! And there we go. Not too shabby. And I will leave the battlefield after a very successful fight. Now, obviously, not every fight will be as successful, and as you can see, if nothing else remains, you can plunder the local province. Press the button in the context menu of the province to toggle on or off on the plundering. The longer you plunder, the more denarii and food you can get, but the more devastation you cause. And what's going to happen is that, basically, if we start plundering this area... Oh, I didn't want to split. If we start plundering this area, well, what's going to happen is the Gauls are going to actually rebel and rise up in other provinces. So there's sort of a balance that you need to keep in this game to not be completely overwhelmed. And you know, I kind of want to buy supply. Come on, what am I talking about? Let's plunder it. Look at that. Oh, that is wonderful. And you can actually see that this army didn't like that one bit. And I believe I've got another one here. Should we send them in? We're gonna have to go to this province first. Although I believe we can walk right in to this province. And this time, I'm gonna go ahead and let the AI handle it so you guys see how that works. And as you can see, the AI does a damn good job. Another thing to consider, guys, is that the AI actually can be controlled in battle. If you want to do that, you don't have to control it outside of the battle. We kind of just auto-resolved it. Go and move that unit there. No, I don't want to split. Start burning. And I'm going to make this army a little bit stronger. You can see our coinage, our denarii in the upper right-hand corner has gotten a bit stronger as well. That's what happens when you start burning down villages and purchasing additional troops. So I'm getting some legionaries. I'm going to take this massive army and head over here. And as you can see here, we've reached the maximum amount of soldiers for this unit. Actually kind of reminds me of an Agios game where like each region has sort of a max capacity. So I do like that. But let's see. This army has moved. So let's go ahead and end our turn and see what the Gauls do. And as you can see, in some instances like this one, they've actually decided to go ahead and battle us. So I'm going to show you guys the AI management here. So we're just going to go ahead, click AI control, and they are going to completely control the legions here. Just want to make sure that that is on AI control. Looks like they're going to be sending the Velites forward, splitting the cavalry, and sending the legionaries over here behind the Velites, kind of off to their left. I kind of like this approach. It's an interesting one to say the least, but I think we're relying exclusively on these cavalry. Unless we can knock down a lot of the enemy with the pilum. Come on, come on. I just love to see how those pilum strike the enemy and absolutely knock them down. Such a ferocious weapon, and I'm sure most of you know this, but the idea with the pilum is if it hits a shield, it's actually going to bend, and it's almost impossible to take it out of that shield, making it much heavier and much more unwieldy. There we go, some cavalry. Come on, you're legionaries, boys. You are legionaries. This victory must be yours. Hey, we got their cavalry to retreat quite quickly, but oh, they're going to be back for more, I'm sure of it. No, it looks like most of their cav is destroyed. Now, what about our cav? Let's take a look there. They seem to be doing okay. What about over here, though? A lot is going on. Not necessarily in a good way, because as you can see, we have very few legionaries left, but come on. These men are hardened legionaries against a group of Gauls. I'm hoping we can come out on top. Now, if we want, we can actually take control of the cavalry ourselves from the AI at any point, but they're doing exactly what I want them to do, and that is flank charge against the enemy here. That's it, boys. Oh, man. It's really come down to just the last few warriors here. Now, they've got some very strong troops. I think we actually lose this one. It almost looks like Gaulish knights, if I could call them that. But as you can see, not every battle can be a victory. And we've been forced out of that region. Now, we've got yet another battle on the way. And this time, I'm going to go ahead and start deployment myself. And I don't think this is really too much to worry about. In fact, we'll go exclusively with our Velites. Maybe we'll bring, just in case, one group of legionaries. Oh, that guy just got rocked back with a ballista. Yeah, that'll happen every now and again. I love it. And look at those Velites. This is why they are such excellent javelin troops. Even at distance here, at range, they're getting some pretty decent shots. All right, it looks like they're throwing short, but I think you guys get the idea here. Almost as far as a bow can fire there. Come on, boys. Now, typically, I wouldn't send Velites into close combat, but against only 5 Gauls, I think we're pretty safe. You know, what we might do with this region is we might start building it up. I'd really like to keep it so that the regions, like, you know, neighboring Italy, directly would be regions that we're going to try to build up. Once again, we've got a nice little battle. And this one I don't think is going to come out in our favor. We just don't have enough troops quite yet. Now, one thing we could do is we can actually retreat here. But I'm not the retreating sort. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to hold out to the very end. If you've gotten this far, okay, and you enjoy what you're seeing, I want you to type down below in the comments Roma Invicta or Rome Invicta, whichever you prefer. I really do appreciate it. Helps me out big time. Start firing there. Ballista! I'm going to try to go straight for the cavalry. And as for the Velites, we will start throwing immediately. There we go. And send in the legionaries. Again, I don't think we're going to come out on top on this fight, but we are going to try our best. Rome does not cater to Gaulish hordes, although I think in this case we probably do. There we go. We did manage to get their cavalry to retreat, but I don't think we're going to get this group of what I'm going to call Gaulish knights to retreat. Nonetheless, we are going to try. What I actually should have done there is thrown the pilum, for sure. It actually would have been a pretty good shot. So there we go. A loss for Rome. Again, the idea is just sort of micromanaging those units and moving them around. Again, from what I can see, it's only Gaul at the moment, but I'm not sure if this changes once you finish this campaign. You can also create a custom battle. If you really like the battle system, go ahead and set up your own fights with as much cavalry as you want, as many siege weapons as you want, etc., etc. Well, guys, I want to thank you so much for stopping by this video. Again, if you enjoy my videos and you want to see more, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I'd also ask that you take a look at my Nexus store for games, and if you'd like to, drop me a tip down below. It really does help. It goes a long way. And a special thanks to everybody that has become a channel member via the join button. It's just $3 a month, and you get to be a true centurion in the Agrippian legions. See you on the next one, folks.